Hello again, Railroaders, and welcome to my new mini-series called CSX 101. Because summer here in Florida can get unbearably hot, some days it's better just to stay indoors, and what better thing to do than edit a video? This series is slightly inspired by videos by Danny Harmon and Christian Johnson of Distance Signal and CF Railfanning, plus the collaboration from my friend Dakota of Kotabeaner Productions. Thanks for all the info and clips, you guys. So without further ado, let's jump into CSX 101, Manifest to Local. As rail fans, most of us desire to see massive mainline freights highballing towards their destination. But where does all that freight go to? Let's use the Tampa area as an example. Our biggest road freight that comes daily is Q441. The Q is a letter prefix CSX uses to classify trains as manifest trains. 441 is obviously in the 400 series, making it a road freight, specifically traveling from Waycross, Georgia to Tampa, Florida. Here's Q441-15 passing Folkston in October of 2020. At the head end are some chemical tanks, loaded coil cars, and miscellaneous. About halfway through the train, we get to the Tropicana juice cars. These are some of the few cars that return southbound to Florida empty. When the cars arrive in Tampa, they're sorted out by yard switchers and made into one consist to be sent south to Bradenton. Also, there's some mixed freight cars behind the juice cars which can be destined for the Seminole Gulf Railroad in Sarasota, but that's for a separate video. Usually around 7 a.m. the juice consist arrives in Bradenton with the same engines that were used on Q441. Then local job 0705 switches the empty juice back into the loaders and the loaded juice cars into another consist to be sent back north to Tampa on 0823. This is 082309 northbound to Tampa passing Palmetto. Next up are some rock hoppers for Temple Terrace in the Conrad Yelvington Center there. Sunday through Thursday nights, local 0704 takes these loaded cars from Yeoman to the plant and then takes the empty cars to Winston Yard in Lakeland and soon returns back to Tampa with more loads. Here he is slamming the Plant City Diamond, returning eastbound with rock loads. The last few freight cars are hopper cars destined for CEMEX in Brooksville. 0728 takes these cars Monday mornings to CEMEX's cement plant near Hudson. Also in the mix are cars for Transflo, the Port of Tampa, Port Manatee, and for interchange on the Seminole Gulf Railroad in Sarasota. The final and most prolific commodity on this train are the loaded auto racks at the rear. Each day, Q441 brings in about 20 to 30 auto racks for Drew Park in North Tampa. Then the next morning, local 0700 will take these cars to the unloading ramp located on the Clearwater sub. On today's Q441, there are a few more freight cars attached to the back of the train that are probably destined for spots in Clearwater, Brooksville, or Palmetto. One of the trains that works the area along this Palmetto sub is 0750, a local out of CSX's Yeoman Yard in Tampa to Industries on the ex-ACL Palmetto sub from Tampa to Bradenton. On this January Monday morning, 0750 is bringing a train south to Palmetto made up of empty rock hoppers. This is a fairly uncommon move, which is much sought after by rail fans. Another local is Y295. All locals terminate in Tampa's Yeoman or Uceda yards, and this one in particular is heading eastbound to work a couple customers along the old port. This is still one of the few spots in Florida that still offers street-running trains and old drawbridge equipment from the ACL days. Let's go a bit deeper into the actual car destination of some of these freight cars. Take those big white box cars on 441 for an example. These cars are formally known as reefer cars. They're equipped with electric refrigerators from Carrier, and when you add that to an insulated boxcar, you get a freezer car, which is how produce and meat is transported by rail. In Plant City, Americold is served by rail, and on this day, local 0709 is going to switch them out. Switching is railroad jargon for pulling empty cars out and putting loads in, or vice versa. Once the industry switch is lined, 709 makes his backing move. Four 41 also carries traffic for the old Brooksville sub that terminates just north of Brooksville and heads south into Tampa's Yeoman Yard. This line was nicknamed Seaboard's back road main line as most freight traffic in the 30s was shipped via this trackage. The current S-line hosted much of the passenger revenue service. On this rainy day, local 0728 makes his way through Lutz with a few gondolas for a scrap dealer and loaded hoppers for Cemex. By far, the hottest commodity in Tampa is the intermodal traffic. Each night, QO46 departs northbound to Jacksonville with containers and UPS traffic. Later that same night, its sister QO45 arrives in Tampa from Jax. Other than Amtrak, these are the highest priority trains in Central Florida. We're set up and now filming at the Plant City Interlocking. Located 25 miles east of Tampa, this is where the ex-ACL's Tampa to Sanford Maine crosses the ex-Seaboard Tampa to Baldwin, Maine. Although not a particular hotspot by any means, it's still a great place to watch Amtrak's, locals, and trains like this Q046 slam the diamond. Yeoman and Uceda Yard is a really neat place to visit, as now you can see it's basically the center of Tampa Bay business. 78th Street is a great place to see all the ethanol, phosphate, and local trains pass, and if you're in the right place at the right time, you can get some pretty cool stuff. Speaking about foreign trains, next episode we'll talk about foreign movements on the CSX, from foreign power to leaser units. But until next time, this is CSX 101, Manifest to Local, end of transmission.